Hey everybody, welcome to the nightly vid, starting with the indexes. We saw SPY start as a slight gap up today, which told us that we're unlikely to get, really major moves similar to yesterday. And what we had to wait for is this. So you see they went 260s down. So it could have been short, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. Then they reversed back up into continuity. So we had the corrective activity. Now tomorrow, I want to see if that can follow through to the upside. You see the hammer 4 hour. Which will be 322 tomorrow morning. If we look in the futures, you'll see the same thing. And, we'll see if we can keep them going. Qs hit all-time highs today. So if you remember when we called the rally down in here, it's up $63. That's a nice one. SPY is still working on it. The Dow Jones still a lot of pivots, a lot of range to go through. And IBM also still lots of range to go through. And you'll see similarly, broadening formation, at least for now, looks like this. Still a lot weaker. That being said, we saw a lot of chips follow through. NVIDIA was really going today. LRCX, 2 up, but red. AMAT, 2 up and nice and green still. NXPI did go 2 down, but it might hammer 222. So we could watch that for the semis tomorrow. Semis obviously gunning. TSM's still good, so all the chips we mentioned in Monday night's nightly vid for Turnaround Tuesday still good for the most part besides NXPI. We also mentioned NBIS on Turnaround Tuesday. We had a gap up sell today. So how do you trade that? Right here. You'll see right here below this, so 51.70, the 2215 never came back. Boom, here's your big trade. And if you missed that, we did have a 60 down, but here is corrective activity, green, then ticks up 3, 2, boom, down they go. Always looking for a corrective activity. So maybe it goes outside week again. We'll see. If we look at the tech sector is still falling through with the semis. So it's gonna be like your Metas, your Oracle, which not so much in those guys. If we go to Apple, not so much. Google, a little bit better, right? Adobe, a little bit. So really not there, right? In the big 7, it's gonna be seemingly more in the smaller cap stuff. So we'll take a look and see what else is going on, but that's kind of the gist. The other thing we'll mention is energies. We didn't really see much on the energy numbers today. They're still 2 weeks down, so nothing really changed. US oil still looks like that. And then we did see gold and silver do this. So you'll see the gap down in gold turns into gap down buy after the lower low. So maybe they firm them up, right? Setting up a rev strat week for next week, which could cause I believe, double inside month. Let's see. Yeah, so it'd be monthly continuation next month. We'll see. Silver, still very green on the month. We had this. The slight lower low on the day, you'll see a couple pennies lower, 2-2 hammer, boom. So we'll see how that works out. 3-2 week next week if we can't go outside this week in silver. Outside of that, that's kind of the gist. If we go and then hit the scanner, we'll see what we got setting up for tomorrow. So you see today, right, 50% of the SPY came back in, 50% of NASDAQ was still going, although, half of it was red. So a little bit of weakness today, and we did not mention those guys yet. If we go to XLP, we'll see this. So 2, 3, 2, 2, boom, down they went. And that was something we found in the morning. And then utilities went 2, 2, 2, down they went. So out of utilities and staples, which is defensive posturing when they're buying those. So that's kind of risk on for the tech and semis. And that's what we said this morning. That being said, some of the stuff from last night's vid did not include Mondelez, but we did find that one along with the semis this morning. You'll see the triangles like so, the inside day down. Last night's vid, we had Hershey's inside, boom, down they go. And that took, you'll see the inside week down Hershey's. So we had the reclaim of these lows here, now reclaiming these highs here, potentially back down PMG. Philip Morris, inside down, you'll see the 2-2 week down. MO, you'll see the inside day. Puker, right, down they went. So we saw a lot of that happening today. And the cool thing was, what we saw is this happened in the morning. 92% of staples are going down. So what do you do all day? You just look for a green bar and then you short it, right? So You'll see in here, if we go to 30 basis, we have the inside 30 here, boom, simultaneous break. Then green, puke. 2 green bars, puke. 2 green bars, and then puke. So down they went all day. Utilities was the same story. So you're going to see it's a little bit more corrective. They had the Rev Strat 16 here and then puke. But we will see, if that continues to be the case. That's a bullish thing as far as we're concerned until it's not, if we see the rest of the market attempting to follow those guys to the downside. At this point, we really don't. So going into tomorrow, we're going to have some inside days. What I like to do is go ATR greater than 5. And we will take a look at what we got here. A lot of healthcare names from what we're seeing. So REGN in the healthcares. Let's see. It is a 2 down month. Currently inside week, although that could change. If we go inside day down, the broad information here looks like this on the day. Maybe we get sub triangle of these guys, which would give you, a couple percent to the downside. VRTX also healthcare's inside day. It's a mother bar though on the inside week still. Inside month. Let's see. ELV in the healthcare's inside day is a 2 down week, is still an inside month. So maybe not. You could set up the inside month. That's really it for the healthcare guys. The cyclicals, let's see. Not a lot of interesting stuff here to me. Dojis. None of the stuff we're looking for here. We could be looking at FANG and the energies. You'll see on the weekly PMG to the downside. All of these guys are up for grabs. So inside down momentum after corrective activity. That's important. Right below this. 137.79. So I've been trying to keep track of all of our nightly lists. That way you can quickly go back and take a look at them. You'll see in here we forgot NVIDIA, which was stupid on my part, but we did see that one get going today. And I labeled this wrong. So this is Monday night. Tuesday. All right. So inside day, FANG. And then the last observation before I forget, so we saw transports today were a little weaker, which told us airlines, UAL, 322 day, Delta, and American Airlines. So we'll see if those follow through, as they still have a lot of big daily magnitudes to go after in there with their 322s. So I'm going to make sure we include that to the list. So on the inside days, back to that. Sorry about that. A little cutaway here. A lot of, nothing on the high ATR names. Maybe FSLR turns into something better, but Solars, don't believe they have a lot of good things going for them at this point. Charter has really been moving around, so that would be a good one we can throw to the list, but that's really about it. FANG and Charter, no simultaneous breaks that I'm seeing on the high ATR list. Now, we can go to a high ATR percent, like a 3% or greater. And I like to sort this one from the bottom up as far as price is concerned. So let's take a look. This will give you normally things that are moving at least a little bit better. I want things above, ideally like, $20, $25, just to remove a few. CCL, let's see, Myrna Healthcare's, it's 2 week up, still inside month. Nope. GDS. And as we say, skip to the end of the video if you're just looking for the list. All I'm doing is I'm going through and looking at all 4 time frames, searching for actionable signals while we kind of chat here. And that's pretty much all we're doing. BNO, that's a pretty interesting one. You'll see long red bars on the week, potentially a rev strap month if they kick that thing into gear to the downside, although not a very big mover. Healthcare's SMLR is an interesting one. It's pretty high ATR inside day. It's not gonna make it to my list. I'm not sure about those options. AEVA is an interesting one. High vol ATR inside day. Celsius coming back from the depths here a little bit. Inside day momentum hammer. It's an outside week already, 3-2 month. So you see that really blew out all the buyers here, brought them back in, and then sets up for tomorrow. It's not a terrible one, but it's momentum, which is not a preference for entries just because you're buying into recent highs, unlike a reversal. We're entering after new lows and then reversing to the highs, which is what we're seeking out. Yeah, this triangle on ALGM, this is a beaut. Look at how big this one is. Going up there. Yep. Just a lot of nobodies in here. All right, here's some more. CCJ. So CCJ is also going to fall under the high vol names. Put a star next to it because it's in uraniums, which we're a little bit redder today. You'll see at this point inside week, so hopefully it stays that way. At least that's what I like to see. Crocs, that's a definite one I want to know about. You'll see the daily broadening formation looking like this. Put a star next to it. And reason being is broadening formation plus actionable daily signal pivot machine gun plus potential rev strat weak actionable signals to the upside. And you'll see, although it's an inside month still, that tells us it's a higher low on the month. So if it's a higher low on the month, it could go higher. It's pretty logical. Williams Sonoma, you can see stuck a little bit in the middle. Am I missing anything? Let's see. All right. All right, nothing too crazy that I seem to be missing here. Maybe DHI if you want to throw it in there. That is going to be in your home builders, which did reverse today. So ABH as well. So we could throw that in for potential mini simultaneous break. And we'll see what comes of it. Now on the 2 down in green, I already have a list here, or a specific name that I'm looking for. You'll see MP, 2 down in green, pivot machine gun. Heck yeah, sign me up for that. Star for that one. Why is that star there, Alex? Look at this monthly. Is it going up? Yes, it is, right? Look at the week. Is it still making higher lows this week? Yes, it is. Look at the day. Are these guys short into higher lows? They are. So send it to them, right? Now for this one, I'm not going to spend the time going through all, seemingly 49 names. Instead, I'll show you exactly what we do at the end of the month. We want things nice and green on the month. So we click this button, we go to the month, clear our filter. Then we go change dollar. Boom. There's all the biggest changes this month by dollar and percent. Here they are. So you'll see MP's at the top of that list. Tells us we should focus on it, huh? If we go to EL. How do you say that? SD louder? Not sure. I probably butchered it, right? PMG month, 322 on the day. For the 322 guys, you can be watching that. Normally I'm not, just because I believe the spreads aren't the best. However, go and check. But as an honorable mention here, MTB financials. So notice 2-2 week up, 322. Month is green, back to the previous range. Daily 222, confirming all those guys. Now, magnitude on here is not the biggest. However, you got an aggressive buyer. So we can actually draw this slightly differently, which gives you a different picture of how this looks to us. You'll see the expansion of the routing formation. So if we do see XLF inside day, get going again, MTB sets up your 222 to do it. And we'll probably have more financials to take a look at. PNC, same thing. So we're starting to identify the simultaneous break in here. Financials, similar to the semis break on Monday. RJF, it's going to be similar, still an inside month. CBRL would be 222 to try and expand on the triangle if you want to take a look at those. All right, by dollar change, we're starting to run out of information or good stocks here. Let's see what else we got this month. STM. I have no idea what they do. Let's take a look. Leading semiconductor company. Interesting. Designs, develops, manufactures, and sells microchips. Cool, cool, cool. Well, how have you been? Way up there. This could be a good one to be watching. Maybe get a NVIDIA partnership or something. They go 100%. So similar to AMSC, American Superconductor, right? 2-2 at the triangle. Also not SMCI, but there's a different one in there that I can't quite remember the name of, but forget it. Let's keep her going. SMMT. Nope. Doji stuff. Setting up a rev strat for next month. So if you want to watch for that, go for it. ASO 2-2 data rev strat the week is a 2-up month. Setting up hammer quarter for next quarter, which is opening at the end of next, or actually beginning of next week. Forgive me. Yeah, Tuesday of next week. It's an interesting one. I'm not sure. Never heard of it. All right, so that covers, most of the things that are up decent this month and actually going somewhere with daily signals. Last thing I want to do is just go 2 down in green day to make sure I'm not missing anything, because I know some of the lists will get cut off and we can miss things. And that's what I do to help you guys out. Just looking at names that we know about and have heard of before to see if they're setting anything crazy up. Doesn't look like we missed anything, so that's a beautiful thing about the scanner. We can also look at 2 up in red, which this list is probably going to be pretty long today. 133 names. So same thing, we're going to filter it by the monthly change, just so we have things that are red on the month instead of bright green. And there's a lot of smaller tech names not having a good time. Box, GitLab, Still a 2-2 month down, triangle out on the week. That could turn into a decent little move. CPRT. Look at this on the month. Come on. 3-2 expansion. It is making new lows, so we're aware of that. Slight corrective activity on the day in there. Solars. Gosh, there's really not much stuff that's going down, boys and girls. So you can go through this list if you want. Maybe team would be a good one. You'll see the 2-2 month down in force. Could make some new lows in here. So we'll add it to the list just as something we can look at on the downside. Let's see, Dick. Maybe ISRG. And that's probably the last one we're going to add in here just to try and keep it a little shorter. It's been going on for a while here. So if you're skipping to the end of the video, here's your Wednesday night observations. New ticker that we notice, STM, which is semis. And then we'll see inside days, some focused Crocs, CCJ, AEVA, maybe simultaneous break in home builders. 2 down in green, focus in MP. Then you got some potential simultaneous break financials. And then 2 up in red, honorable mention. You can play these if you want. We obviously have most of the market going higher. That's it. Have a good rest of your night, and adios.